What is this place? At least there don't seem to be any bad guys around.
Emil, I didn't get a chance to ask yet with all the fighting and shit, but what happened to you back then? And where have you been? And why the hell do you have 4 arms?
Look, it's gonna take way too long to get into all that now.
Fine. I was worried, you know?
Aw, Kaine. But look at us now. Team Camille, back together again.
Yeah, I guess so.
Team Camille. Oh, this is like the roof.
Kaine, I feel like I've forgotten something really important.
Tell me about it.
You too?
Yeah, I can't really describe it, but it's like my mind is filled with this weird fog.
I think I made a promise to somebody? Like, that we would go eat something delicious?
Well then, we'll just have to get those memories back.
Yeah!
Oh, dang. That's so cool.
I feel an enormous magical power ahead.
Just don't do anything rash. Got it?
Got it. Same goes for you, Kaine. I don't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah. Is this the Shadow Lord's castle?
Kaine, I'm sensing some powerful magic up ahead.
This is a very special place. To you and to the world. That is the core frame of this forest, within which a great variety of information is stored.
Inside it exists all that this world is, including the memories you have lost.
Though, rather than many,
You don't get to decide who lives and who dies.
That voice. It's the one from my dreams.
I've heard that voice before.
these are your memories.
made it this far because you were with us, Kane.
Damn it. What is this?
Do you suffer?
Are you pained?
Shut the fuck up! That fucking shit purse! Just die
What is
already!
a shit purse?
Where am I? Emil,
These are your memories.
These are your records.
This is your world.
the hell is this?
Sweet memories from deep within.
Bitter memories that were sealed away.
Shades?
Shades. Human souls that have gone gestalt.
These shades are what did produced via your records. They are true humans who slaughter and truth.
You are a foreign entity in this world.
An error created by a discrepancy between memory and record.
I have not understood a single fucking thing you shitty little ass grabbers have said since we started this goddamn adventure!
This is so cool.
God damn it. Enough with this bullshit already.
You have heard many voices.
Fear, hate, rage, suffering.
Each of them has meaning.
Stop it, stop it, stop it! I killed Shades. That's all there is to it.
This is the deepest place in your memories.
Memories you had sealed away.
And this one is your worst memory.
Motherfucker. I'll kill you as many times as it takes. You goddamn shit fucking despicable piece of garbage!
We upgraded the data that was recreated from your memories.
Can you defeat this nightmare?
Shut your goddamn traps for one goddamn second and let me kill it already!
Your efforts are futile. cannot be stopped.
There is no escaping this nightmare.
Someone else was there when I first fought this bastard. Fuck. Why can't I remember?
Oh shit.
This is some twisted shit right here, and you're gonna pay! I won't lose to you! I think it's charging up its magic. Get the fuck down here, you worthless, piss-guzzling shit rag! Okay, that hurt.
Get out, half-breed! You disgust me. You disgust us all. We don't want you. Just leave us in peace.
Enough already! Please, just shut up! Fuck. This is bad.
What the hell? When Kaine's eyes fluttered open, she sees a dozen villagers quizzically staring back. After a moment, she realizes she collapsed on the ground where sharp stones dig at her flesh like, whatever, that's not important right now. She pulls herself to a knee before rising on unsteady feet and sparing a glance at her surroundings. The fuck? She mutters. What happened? Wasn't I just fighting shades? Her mind races as her hand gropes unconsciously for the blade that had been her constant companion for so long. Though she can't explain it, it's clear she has somehow been transported to an entirely new world. Well, not entirely new. She recognizes the hawk-shaped weather vane twisting slowly in the wind above her, as well as the small round homes with wisps of smoke drifting into the air, and of course there are villagers currently staring at her with a mixture of fear and disgust. Oh yes, they are a familiar sight indeed. She is in the Eyrie. She is home. Is something the matter, girl? Kaine spins around at the voice and sees a woman ravaged by time. Her narrow hips barely seem strong enough to hold her body upright, while the shawl wrapped around her thin frame appears ready to fall apart at any moment. Grandma? Is that really you? Her grandmother's eyes grow almost comically wide before blinking several times in succession. What's wrong with you, fool girl? Is your head lost in dreams? Dreams? Could this be a dream? But it feels so real. But she's dead. Grandma's dead. I watched that goddamn shade kill her. So if this isn't a dream, how the hell is she here? Unless those shades killed me too. That must be it. I'm dead. I'm dead and this is Oh, stop with that nonsense already. Kaine flinches as her grandmother raises a hand in the air expecting a pain to come as correction for her foolishness. But instead of a blow, her grandmother simply places the hand upon her granddaughter's cheek. The warmth of it instantly spreads from her cheek to her face before filling her entire body with a kind of beautiful light. What's wrong, girl? Asks her grandmother. Are you upset? Do you want to go home? Kaine feels tears coming down her cheeks, or coming to her eyes, and struggles to hold them back, though she still has no idea what's happening. She knows one thing for certain: this is her grandmother. Sorry, Grandma. Not sure where my head was there. Well, just make sure to keep it attached. Her grandmother chuckles as she pulls her hand away. Maybe this is a dream, or maybe I am already dead. I don't know. But either way, I'm not alone. As long as Grandma's with me, that's enough. Didn't I just tell you to stop spacing out, girl? Her grandmother says with a cackle. Here now, hold this. She hands Kaine a large sack filled to bursting with all manner of fruits and vegetables. Damn, Grandma, this is a lot. Well, it's important to treat yourself every now and again. Besides, these villagers may hate us, but these bastards are more than willing to take our money. We'll then support as we can, even if we have to hold their noses while doing it. Her grandmother trails off as if trying to remember something, then slowly turns around. Well, what do you know? In all the excitement, I forgot to buy my medicine. A thin smile wavers on her face for a moment before vanishing into a lifetime's worth of crevices and wrinkles, causing Kaine to take a concerned step forward. No, Grandma, that's fine. You go home and rest. I'll get the medicine. Grandmother hesitates, clearly trying to weigh her own need for rest against her granddaughter's odd behavior of a moment before she can start to argue. Kaine charges ahead, ignoring the small voice in her head that's telling her what a bad idea all of this is. Really, Grandma, it's fine. Go home. I've got this. She pulls her grandmother's ancient wallet from her fingers, an act that requires a surprising amount of strength. Besides, you know how stubborn I am. Once my mind is set, there's no changing it. I wonder where you get that from. Seeing that further argument will be useless, her grandmother slowly turns and begins the long journey home. Kaine watches the figure recede from her vision, waiting for what seems an eternity to ensure everything is alright. Once the frail shadow finally vanishes over the horizon, she turns on a heel and makes for the apothecary. Oh there, says the elderly apothecary as Kaine enters the store. Here for Callie's medicine, are you? Though few villagers have ever bothered to learn her grandmother's name, she and the apothecary were old friends. Perhaps that was the reason he'd always show her kindness when so many others did not. Yeah, if that's not a bother. The shopkeeper immediately sets about his work, deftly pulling out bottles and herbs from the shelves and mixing them with a practiced hand. Soon a peculiar smell begins to drift through the store, one that immediately reminds Kaine of her childhood. There you are, says the apothecary as he holds out a small cloth bag. Sorry for the wait. Oh, and say, that's a fine portrait you drew of your grandmother. Looks just like her. So it does. Honestly, I've never seen Callie so over the moon about anything. She brags about it every time she stops by. You saw that? Says Kaine, her eyes narrowing. Said portrait was something she had whipped up one day after getting her hands on some crayons, and to call it rough would be an act of pure generosity. The idea her grandmother was displaying it around town makes Kaine's stomach want to sink down to her feet before sinking off into a hole somewhere. You bet I saw it, the pleased apothecary says. She brought it all the way here just to show me. My, but it's been a long time since I've seen something so wonderful. Kaine's mind begins to whirl. The picture was shit. She was sure it was shit. And yet the man's reaction displayed the exact opposite opinion. Is he just being nice to me? The apothecary, as if sensing your skepticism, doubles down. I could really tell you put your heart into it. It was simply wonderful. Thanks, offers Kaine, who just wants the entire conversation to be over. She briefly considers how she's going to make her grandmother cease her little traveling art show, but then realizes that train has likely left the station. Shaking her head to banish her increasingly shrill thoughts, she grips the bag of medicine tightly and turns to leave, but just as she reaches the door, she hears a loud thud from somewhere back in the shop. Kaine turns around to see the apothecary crouching on the floor. Hey there, you okay? When the man does not reply, Kaine moves towards him. She assumes he just slipped on something or perhaps hit his head on one of the low-hanging shelves in the crowded shop. The moment she draws close to him, she hears him begin to scream inside her mind. My leg, my leg, my leg, my leg, oh my god, where's my leg? Panicked, Kaine looks down and discovers that the man's leg is gone. Help me, screams the voice in her head, help me. As Kaine looks in horror, the man's fingers begin to shimmer and vanish. He reaches out for her with his other hand, only to find that it too is no longer there. Soon his arms go, then his legs. Then the side of his face warbles out of existence, causing a stray eyeball to roll out of his socket onto the floor. "Hell," says the voice, if it could even be called that anymore. "I can." A moment later, what remains of the pitiful shopkeeper collapses into a heap of ash, releasing a small puff into the suddenly silent air. As Kaine stumbles back in horror, she hears a cacophony of terror rising outside. God, what's happening? My arms, where are my arms? Why can't I see? Kaine bursts out of the store and finds herself in a nightmare. Homes slough the side of the cliffs, taking out pieces of scaffolding as they fall. Screams echo out everywhere, creating an opera fit for hell. Villagers run in mad circles before exploding into dust, their clothing drifting this way and that as it floats untethered throughout the air. As she stares at the scene, wide-eyed, a single thought suddenly inserts herself into her forefront of her mind. Grandma. Kaine breaks into a run, the crumbling world around her suddenly forgotten. She leaps from one piece of falling debris to the next, using them as stepping stones to cross a world that is increasingly losing cohesion. As she continues her mad dash, flecks of ash are blown into her face, her mouth, her eyes. Ash. Ash, 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 building and people, all reduced so many cinders in the wind. Soon she arrives at her childhood home. It was once a place filled with precious memories, a place she regarded as an oasis of increasingly mad world, but now it's nothing but a pile of ash. As she gapes unbelievingly at the sight, a faint sound suddenly reaches her ears. Nay. She's alive. Grandma's alive. With a speed born out of panic, she leaps into the giant pile and begins shoving it aside. It stings her eyes and burns her lungs, but she continues on, heedless of the danger. Finally, she pulls a small blackened form out of the darkness. "Come on, Grandma," she whispers. "We're getting out of here." Without waiting for a response, Kaine gathers her grandmothers in her arms and breaks into a mad run, hoping to escape the chaos. But the wave of ash has become a tsunami, and before she can make it more than a few desperate steps, it reaches out with a cruel hand and overwhelms them. Kaine stumbles and falls, sending her and her grandmother tumbling into the ashes. One glance at her feet is enough to reveal the culprit. Her right leg has vanished to a point just below the knee. "Oh, it'll take more than that to stop me," mutters Kaine, as she slings her grandmother over her shoulder and begins to crawl away. "We're gonna make it. We're gonna live." As she crawls, her grandmother seems to grow lighter, as if trying to magically reduce the weight of her own burden. And as Kaine continues to struggle, she hears a small, soft voice enter her ear. Thank you, Kaine. Thank you." As the voice drifted away, the last pile of ash that used to be her grandmother drifts away on a soft breeze. Kaine screams his impossibly sad and lonely sound and begins to pull the ashes back to her. This can't be happening. It can't be happening. But the ashes are mingling with all the other detritus from the collapsed village, and soon she can no longer tell which particles belong to who. Come on the fuck on already. As she continues her frantic digging, her hand suddenly closes around a piece of soft, ragged fabric, her grandmother's shawl. I knew this place was a lie. I knew it, and I still couldn't do anything. Couldn't save anyone. Couldn't even escape. I just felt a piece of the place and I accepted it. I wanted it. This is why there's nothing here. No reason to live. No goal. No anything. So this is why I'm...
Say.
Suddenly a new voice enters Kaine's world.
I say, can you hear me?
After a moment, the voice calls out again, louder and clearer.
Now then, you wish to get him back, hmm?
Him? Replied Kaine. Who are you talking about?
For the love of all the heavens, I always did know you were a handful.
So the voice immediately begins to grate on Kaine's nerves. There's something else, as well, a kind of warmth, almost a familiarity.
Are you truly so daft that you have already forgotten one of your beloved traveling companions and friends?
Says the voice, which causes something deep in Kaine's memories to surge forth. That's right. I had friends, and I was fighting to get one of them back. At this realization, a blinding radiant beam of light shoots out across the ash-covered world. Covering her eyes with one trembling hand, Kaine reaches for it.
Do hurry back now, hussy.
Hussy. Nice.
What is the matter? Do you still not remember? You've not time to become lost in your thoughts.
Right. Okay. Let's get him back!
Power of Grimoire of Ice grants you the use of magic.
Use my magic to topple the beast. I presume you know how to use magic, yes? Then give us a show, hussy!
I don't need your help to take out this goddamn fuckwaffle!
Use my power to knock the creature down with magic. Well done! Now clobber the beast!
Let's fuck it up good! Shit, this thing is tough.
Let the next onslaught be our last.
Hey, Vice.
Yes.
Thanks.
Have you been in your cups again?
Fuck your face.
Ah, that's more like it. Are you sound of mind, hussy? What you're attempting is extremely...
Cram it, book. I'm doing this.
I see. Let not your resolution waver before mere illusions again, hussy.
Don't worry. I'll do what needs to be done.
Let us finish this.
So this is a replicant's potential.
Don't go. Gotta go back.
Shut up, shut up! I already made up my mind. Nobody tells me what to do. I swore I would be a sword. I swore that I would be your sword. Do you hear me? So I am going to get you back, and I don't care what it takes. Who the fuck do you think you are to just up and disappear like that, huh? I'm the one who gets to decide what my life means to me. It's my life, and I'll do whatever I want with it. So quit wasting time like a brainless fuckwit and get your ass back here now!
This is awesome. Wait, what? If you choose this option, your current save data will be erased, and the save data deleted in ending D will be restored. Huh? Do I? I am assuming I want to say yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. That's so cool. Select a file to restore the lost save data to.
I leave the rest to you, hussy.
The hell is that? There's a meal. Whoa.
Our journey may have been meaningless.
Our past may have been a mistake.
But we're not going back.
Even if this world comes to an end.
Because this is the world with the people we cherish.
It's a lunar tear. Awesome. A parting greeting has been added to the options menu. Visit that woman's house to acquire a new weapon. Oh, now their swords, or all their weapons are screen. Super cool. Let's go get that weapon. Yeah, I think for the first Blitzball match, it's more about winning the first half. Because I think if you're down, you lose Titus. Or Titus. Sorry for the sniff.
Oh there, getting on?
Oh yeah, to get the check shot, you have to do the event on the boat on the way there. You're making me want to play Final Fantasy X. I haven't played it in forever. All these all these extra endings are the post main story content. Obtain the one-handed sword, Kaine sword. Sweet. I'm assuming since it's $9.99, you can just equip armor break as opposed to anything else. Yeah, so like after you beat the main story, like, and get ending A, you can go back and you get endings B through E. And that's what I just finished. So that was the whole game. Good stuff, good stuff. Time to write the review. I've written most of it. I just wanted to get all the extra endings out of the way so I could see the whole story and be able to judge the game as a whole. And as a whole, I'd say it's like a 9.5. I really like this game. It's really good. From the at the initial ending is probably like 8.5 ish, 9. But the extra endings and how they change the story is really cool. And like, I'm super excited to play Automatopoeia. Super excited. Yeah, that was really good.